Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we are diving together into Ultra League with my best teams around Trevenant. Yeah, you heard that right, we're gonna go all in with Trevenant teams, with the first one being the Steelix up in front, at the back the Trevenant as our safe switch for the first team showcase, and as a closer I have decided to add in there the Swampert. So for this team, in order to be much better, you might want to consider running Shadow Steelix and Shadow Swampert, because those two are gonna hit like a truck, and you can definitely take some shields out of play with your Steelix and Trevenant so that your Swampert can have the upper hand on the end game. What I like about Steelix is that even against a fire type or against something like a Trevenant, you can still go toe to toe up against that Pokemon, even against Swampert, with your Dragon Tails, your immense bulk, and of course the amazing pressure from those debuffs and the Psychic Fangs. I really like Steelix up in front with Crunch, but to be honest I think that Earthquake is gonna give you more coverage against the meta, and you might need it towards the end of the game with proper rotation. At the back, the Trevenant is gonna be used with the standard moveset, but we're gonna see it a lot on this video because this is a Trevenant video on the Ultra League after all. And as our closer, the Swampert, well, as a Shadow you're gonna do much more damage, while Earthquake is gonna just destroy down a lot of meta relevant mons, and of course your Hydro Cannon will be your main way to go. As a core breaker, we got the Tapu Fini, which is gonna do tremendous amount of work up in front against the Steelix, obviously resisting those Dragon Tails, while the moves are not gonna do so much damage to that Pokemon. And at the back, while Trevenant is gonna be your main solution against that Pokemon, well, you have to safe switch your way in there with the Swampert, trying to snipe them down with a potential Sludge Wave or Earthquake. Once again, I recommend Earthquake, but if you happen to encounter a lot of Tapu Finis, perhaps Sludge Wave might be the way to go for this battle. Other than that, I think that this team is gonna work fantastically good for the meta, and you're not gonna have any other problems at all. For the next one, we have a Trevenant up on the lead, at the back the Charizard and the Registeel. So Charizard here is gonna work like an amazing safe switch for this line. I really like it in the meta, able to pressure a lot with those wing attacks and of course the Dragon Claws, while Blast Burn, even when resisted, it still does a lot of damage. So what you want to do with this line is to throw aggressively your Charizard most of the times in there so that you can draw the Swampert out of play, and your Registeel is gonna have a much better environment, sweeping the entire team out of play. This team might struggle a little bit against Charizard up on the lead or Talonflame, but still I believe that with Registeel as your closer, you still got the possibility to nuke them down out of existence with a pure Zap Cannon, which is pretty nice if you ask me. So yeah, this team works pretty nicely. Use your Charizard to aggressively draw out that Swampert so that you can finish it off with your Trevenant, get out of this battle with a lot of energy, and then your Trevenant will go crazy up against them, getting those shields, while your Registeel is gonna have the better and the best environment into sweeping the entire team. This team is gonna work pretty nicely, as I have already said about 5 times already, but the core breaker of this team is gonna be the one and only Obstagoon. Up in front, Obstagoon can have kind of a positive matchup against Trevenant, but at the back it is just gonna dominate when shields are up, and even with an Obstact in play, well, it can simply destroy down that Registeel without shielding at all, because one Obstact, it raises up its defense and then can even tank one Focus Blast and still finish off that Registeel, which is pretty nice for the Obstagoon. Other than that, I think that this team will have no other weakness, and you're gonna be in a very good spot, mainly against the Swamperts, if you can play this team correctly with the aggressive switch on the Charizard. We saw before that Tapu Fini is a very nice core breaker for the Ultra League, so here it is on the next team showcase as our leader this time. So we're gonna have a lot of action with this team. We have the Cobalion as a safe switch, while Trevenant on this particular position will do a lot of work as our closer. You're gonna see that the Tapu Fini up in front is gonna have a lot of general leads, and of course at the back with the safe switch on the face of Cobalion, I think that you have nothing to worry worry about, able to go pretty rough on the enemies with your Sacred Swords, while the Stone Edge is gonna be used for coverage, especially against the Charizards and the Talonflames, while you can also go with back-to-back and finish off the opposing Trevenant if they are not careful at all. You can also survive one Shadow Ball, so I would not be that much worried about Trevenant as a core breaker for this team. It is gonna be a core breaker, but still kinda soft, so you can get how you can play around it for sure with this line. What I like a lot about this team is its synergy, because your two Pokemon, the Tapu Fini and the Trevenant, can protect your Cobalion from those Swampers, while your backline with the Trevenant and the Cobalion can protect your Tapu Fini from poison types and other weaknesses that this Pokemon might have. But to be honest, most of the times you're gonna have a very good lead with Tapu Fini in play, and I would not be that much worried about that scenario. This team is particularly strong. It relies a lot on the synergy. I think you're gonna get a lot of elo out of this line, and of course Trevenant as a closer is absolutely amazing if you can play it correctly and you can get out of the battles and on your ending battle with the shields up. Into the final one, and we're having the Trevenant upon the lead, at the back the Walrein and the Regirock. Trevenant is gonna be used once again as our amazing leader. At the back the Walrein is gonna be the spammy closer that you need in order to succeed in Ultra League, and especially with the Earthquake you have a chance to nuke down those steel types, which is gonna be kind of a problem for your Walrein, especially that Registeel and the Stunfisk. As a safe switch we have the Regirock, which is gonna do a lot of work against the meta. You might want to use your Walrein as your safe switch, because to be honest, Regirock has much harder hitting moves in its arsenal, but still you can use it as a safe switch because of how versatile it is against the meta, and you can easily draw out the Swampert if you feel like you have to, but still you have both Trevenant and your Walrein, which can both do a lot of work on that factor. As a core breaker you might see that we have here the Scrafty, and you might be wondering, Ganeto, what are you doing? This Pokemon is super good. How are you gonna do anything about it? Well, what you can do with this line, because it is gonna be indeed a soft core breaker, you're just gonna go with back-to-back Seed Bombs in order to threat it out of existence, or just go with back-to-back Icicle Spears, or just go with a pure Focus Blast eventually in order to finish it off completely. And I believe that Scrafty will eventually get out of there so that you can have an empty room in order to do a lot of work with the remaining Pokemon on your team. So that's gonna be a wrap for today's video, and that is gonna be my complete coverage on the Trevenant teams. Let me know right down in the comments what the next Pokemon shall be for my next team showcase, and I want to do more than 4 sometimes, but I can't find the 5th one unless it's gonna be kinda spicy. Yeah, so that's all for now, and yeah, that's gonna be my Trevenant video for the Ultra League. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers!